At 36 after, we are going to collectively rage scream into the ether for everyone to hear us.
We are pulling together a vigil. It starts at 8 o'clock, and this is an opportunity for folks in the community to come together and mourn the stripping away of one of our constitutional rights, that we all woke up this morning feeling like we were somewhat free, and as of this afternoon, our freedoms have been stripped away.
Honestly, I am disgusted with how it's going in the world right now. We were protesting this over 50 years ago. Why are we doing it again? We should be supporting our sisters, our wives, our mothers, our daughters. It's sad. It's sad nowadays that we have to go back and do this all over again.
One thing I just have to say, make very clear, is that these people are not pro-life. They are just anti-abortion. If they were pro-life, children would not be getting slaughtered in their elementary school classrooms while police sat by and just looked pretty.
I just never thought I would see this day where Roe versus Wade gets overturned, but yet there's still no gun regulation to stop people from killing kids.
They've been organized for 49 years to get rid of this. We cannot wait that long. We have to fight harder and faster and better than them at this fight right now. So I need to see black, brown faces, white faces, women's faces, men's faces, people who are gender non-conforming and non-binary faces. I need to see every single person out here, and I will be out here as an angry man with no uterus whose rights were not taken away because of the fact that I love a lot of people who were.
When they say you can't talk about sex ed in school, and you can't talk about gay people in school, and you can't talk about condoms in school, you know what happens? Teens get pregnant, and you know what happens when teens get pregnant and they can't get abortions? You get a lot of babies that grow up in homes that aren't prepared to have babies, and you end up with these cycles. These are cyclical issues. How do we stop them? Educate yourself, go to the library. I don't know what else to tell you. That's what I've got. Thank you.
So we're just chipping away at the sort of social fabric of how we operate together, and it's really, the long-term effects, I think, are really going to be damaging, not only to individual people's lives, but to our democracy as a whole. I think in the 22 to 26 states that are going to see abortion fully illegal or severely curtailed, those Planned Parenthood affiliates are going to have to reconfigure what they do and how they do it. I think Planned Parenthoods across the country are going to become advocacy organizations first and foremost in states where they're going to have to start fighting back. Here in New York, we are fortunate to have a governor who's investing in the abortion infrastructure, who's helping us make sure that our health centers are safe.
You think about the struggle to perfect our union, and the right to choose is very much a foundational pillar in that. And to see unelected folks undermine it after 50 years of precedent, it's very, very dispiriting, but it's also important for us to continue to dig deep. And here in New York, we certainly will stay on the front lines and protect abortion and protect the right to choose and protect equality. You come to these rallies to feed off the energy, to provide your own energy, to create a collective energy to build upon, knowing that the fight is ahead.
What are we going to do tomorrow? Did you think about it?
I'm going to be here tomorrow. Is anyone else going to be here tomorrow? Because I'm going to be here tomorrow, the next day, and up until this gets turned. Every single day, before work, after, free days. This should consume all of your time because this is happening now to everyone you know. If they're going to take away our right to health care, what is next? Our rights to vote, interracial marriage, gay couples, trans kids, what's going to happen to them next?
When you think about what Justice Thomas stated in regards to contraception and same-sex marriage, how far does it go? We're going to also ban interracial marriage too. They got it wrong, dead wrong.
Our future is us, and it has to change now. Because I don't want to be the girl that's scared in the bathroom trying to find ibuprofen or a metal hanger and be scared and hurt myself because of someone else's opinion. Thank you.
I think that it's very important at this point that the consumer hears what is exactly going on in that warehouse, what we go through to get their package out.
Kimberly Lane is one of hundreds of workers at Amazon's ALB1 distribution facility in Rensselaer County. It's a huge building with a constant flow of trucks in and out, nestled in a quiet town just outside of Albany. But next month, that town could be the site of something big. Lane and hundreds of other workers at the facility will vote on whether to form a union. And if they're successful, it would be just the second time that's happened in Amazon's history. The first was this spring on Staten Island, where workers formed the Amazon Labor Union, claiming unsafe conditions and low pay. In Albany, union organizers say the same. Heather Goodall, who works at the facility, is leading those efforts.
I had taken photos and videos of several aisles and bins that were collapsing within the warehouse. Those bins had collapsed to the point where now the shelving on the sides were now sticking out, protruding into the aisles, oftentimes causing lacerations on employees.
Amazon has pushed back, urging workers to vote against a union. In a statement, an Amazon spokesperson said, quote, "As a company, we don't think unions are the best answer for our employees. Our focus remains on working directly with our team to continue making Amazon a great place to work." But organizers disagree. They don't think Amazon is a great place to work, at least not right now. They want better pay and claim that conditions created by Amazon at the facility are both unfair and unsafe. Quotas for employees determine performance, and when a worker wants to take a break or use the bathroom, that could impact their numbers. And if that happens, workers say there could be consequences. Goodall again.
Let's say, for example, 50 items an hour. You have to pack those. If you don't pack those, then you could be written up or fired for quality or for not meeting your quota. Let's say you've increased your fluids to stay hydrated, and you go to the bathroom and you go, let's say, 3 additional times a day, 5 minutes each. That's 15 minutes they're going to ask you what you were doing. If you say, I was going to the bathroom, well, you need to go on your breaks, and there's a risk you can get written up.
It's so hot and you're working so hard, you're constantly drinking water. So it's impossible to not have to use the bathroom every once in a while, you know. And you have to also understand that when you're in the middle of the warehouse, your bathrooms are all the way down there or all the way down there. So it's going to take you a good 15 minutes to leave your station, go use the facilities, and, you know, once it gets to a point that they think it's a little too disconcerting, they're probably going to fire you.
And workers say that creates a working environment that isn't safe, where employees could work through pain or fatigue to keep their numbers up, at the risk of injury. It's a problem that, workers say, was made worse during the pandemic, when online orders went up, and that actually prompted new legislation at the state capitol. The state legislature passed the Warehouse Worker Protection Act earlier this year in response to those claims. It's sponsored by State Senator Jessica Ramos, a Democrat from Queens who chairs the Labor Committee.
What this bill does is allow workers to have a bathroom break. What this bill would do is really regulate the algorithm that companies like Amazon and others use to have control over their workforce. And unfortunately, they're treated like robots, not human beings. Well, over the past few years, we've seen warehouse work explode, right? This is a very rapidly growing industry in New York State. And throughout the pandemic, when people were staying home and ordering more packages than usual, of course, there was a higher demand for this workforce. And so it showed us that we were quickly walking into a situation where we were allowing high-tech sweatshops to operate in New York State.
It's been more than 3 months since that bill passed, largely along party lines. And lawmakers are hoping Governor Kathy Hochul signs it, and soon.
But now it's just sitting on the governor's desk, and it really is a matter of time before another worker gets injured or worse.
And for the workers in Albany and across New York, injuries have been top of mind. An analysis of Amazon's self-reported data from the National Employment Law Project, a workers' rights group, showed a 64% increase of injury rates at Amazon warehouse and logistics facilities from 2020 to 2021. In Albany, workers say the ALB1 warehouse is the site of regular ambulance calls, a claim that sources familiar with EMS activity in Rensselaer County backed up. Kevin Quinn is another worker at the warehouse.
I had a 50-pound box almost hit me in the back of my head when I was passing down an aisle. It was being held by one elastic strap, and it was already leaning out of the bin. And all of a sudden I heard something hit the upper shelf. We drive these little carts that can go up and down in the air, and it literally hit the back of that pit, and then luckily it was deflected and it went. Otherwise it would have hit me right on the back of my head and my shoulder.
Amazon said the company wouldn't have the time to give us a tour of the ALB1 facility before next month's union vote, but challenged the claims of unsafe working conditions. In a statement, a spokesperson said, quote, "We strongly disagree. The safety and well-being of our employees at ALB1 and across the company are our highest priority. We also work closely with health and safety experts and scientists, conduct thousands of safety inspections each day in our buildings, and have made hundreds of changes as a result of employee feedback on how we can improve their well-being at work. But workers, in Albany at least, say they still don't feel safe at work or appreciated." Another big part of why they want to unionize is to bargain for higher wages. The average starting pay for these kinds of positions at Amazon is $18 an hour, according to the company. Workers are hoping that changes if their union vote passes next month.
The union is going to provide them, I think, other than the wages and employing the safety measures that we need to protect employees, I do believe that it's also going to offer that job security that people should have. People are going to work every day. Is this my last day? I can't go to the bathroom. I can't, leave my station. So the union is going to offer them that protection that they deserve.
In the meantime, workers say, Amazon lobbied against a union. If workers vote yes, they would join the Amazon Labor Union, the same union that represents workers on Staten Island. But workers say management has held mandatory meetings bashing the union and lobbying workers to vote no.
It's just ridiculous with these captive audience meetings and telling everybody that, where ALU is untested and unproven, and they're really trying to instill a lot of fear into employees as far as signing cards.
Amazon has created a culture of intimidation, and that, I think, plays into the fear of losing your job, the fear of going to the bathroom, the fear of, missing UPT, going to work sick. Am I going to make all of these fears? Amazon has very skillfully created a culture of fear, and they did that strategically. So we need to make sure that these employees know you don't have to live in fear anymore. You're going to work. And how do we eliminate that fear? We show support.
Amazon defended the practice, saying they're just trying to share their side with workers who might be on the fence. In a statement, a spokesperson said, quote, "Holding meetings about unions with employees is a process that's been legally recognized for more than 70 years. Like many other companies, we hold these meetings because it's important that everyone understands the facts about joining a union and the election process itself. Both sides will have the next few weeks to make their case. Workers will vote on whether to form a union in mid-October. For New York Now, I'm Thomas Connolly."
It's been a question on many people's minds. What will school look like come fall? While there are many uncertainties, the presidents of UAlbany and Siena College say they plan on following state, federal, and local guidance for their schools. While this crosswalk is a symbol of progress, local lawmakers say more steps need to be taken when it comes to equality for the LGBTQ+ community.
Juneteenth is being celebrated across the country and also here in Albany. And many people here today tell me this is something that they've been waiting to celebrate right here in the city. Many businesses here in Saratoga Springs have felt that financial burden due to the COVID-19 pandemic. That being said, the Saratoga Springs Chamber of Commerce launched a campaign last Friday that would help these local businesses thrive.
Well, actually, one resident I spoke with says that this brightens up the city between the lights on the houses and seeing the nice white snowfall. It actually just brought some joy to the capital region here in New York.
You mentioned that you were running in February, right before COVID-19 hit us. What was the journey like doing your campaign in the midst of a pandemic?
Lydia, Tim, good evening. I am standing on River Street where you can see it's completely coated in snow. Actually looks pretty nice. There were some cars coming by, but you know, it's snowing so fast that it's already covered. And just to give you a reference, I am stepping on the sidewalk and you can barely even tell that there is a step here. That's how fast that the snow is coming. And I'm stepping all around, so it's not as pretty.
Hey Jamie, good evening. Rain or shine, there's a lot going on in the Spa City thanks to the track season. Fans are starting to make their way inside the TU, hoping that the Empire will take home the big trophy tonight.